Hello and welcome to another late night session of Just Grasp 1. It is 9 p.m. here on the West Coast, and we're about to see one of our, I believe this is winners, actually semifinals. Yeah, this is winners semifinals. Uh, Between Rose and Feathers. Whoever wins this will be guaranteed at least a third place placing in the tournament, which will be very exciting. All right, we're going to see the draft get started off here. We're going to have Hockman come out for Feathers, and then Rachel and Polar coming out for Rose. If we know anything about this draft, it'll just be Chip and Milia for Feathers to take out the rest of or to finish out their draft here. Let me center this camera a little bit better. Holy smokes. Camera's flying all over the place. Here we are. So we should be seeing Chip and Milia coming out from Feathers, I imagine, unless they're going to switch it up on us today. Rose, of course, will probably finish out their draft. They have a couple of things that they've been switching out. They had Cammy the first time, then they went to Linne the second time. So we'll have to see which one they end up going with for this final pick, or if they have something else up their sleeve. I mean, I know they have other things that they play. It's just debating on what they want to play here. Feathers taking a moment to go ahead and think about what they want to play. I'm not sure. Ryu and Milia. All right. Feathers took a second to think there, saying, "Hey, I think Rose knows how to play against this chip pretty well, so we're gonna pick something like the Ryu instead, and say, okay, we're gonna pick a solid character rather than a character that's gonna just kind of like run around you 24/7." We did see Rose take out download last time that we were here. Oh, it looks like we end up rounding out the draft with Linne. Not opting to go for that Cammy pick. Throwing everything in the selection bag real fast. And then first one, of course, is hidden, so Rose will go ahead and probably draw one to hand or something, or they'll just start up the hidden areas, whatever works better for them. Okay. We have Hawkman into Polar Knight starting out here. Hawkman into Polar Knight's a little bit of an interesting one, right? Because Polar Knight is going to want to set up, and Hawkman's also going to want to set up, both in different ways. Polar Knight wants to set up their ice spikes, and then Hawkman wants to set up their gauge, and then kind of get these boosts, make kind of silly strikes that you just can't win into, because Hawkman already has good cards, and then they just get better because of these strikes, or because of these boosts. And then on Polar Knight's side, Polar Knight is he does a lot of grappler damage. Polar Knight just does, yeah, they just have grappler damage. As long as you're sitting on those ice spikes, you can go ahead and get hit for 1.5 billion damage at any given moment. So we'll have to see how we kind of navigate this matchup, because this matchup can go either way. This isn't set in stone on one particular platter. And yeah, so it looks like they're gonna start off with the coin flip here. Looks like they got hell, so Hawkman will take first turn. This makes Polar go second. Alrighty. We're down to the mulligan portion of the game here. Now, the kind of notable things to think about here when we're looking at this matchup is we have a lot of stuff on either side that can kind of affect how this goes. Because you have stuff like the stomp that pushes 2. This pushes, notably, this is range 1 to 2, so at range 2, this beats quite a bit of things in all honesty, except for focus, And then on And then of course we have all these other options. We have the Shovel Slam, the Shovel Charge, and notably the 1 through 7 Polar Plow. We have all these options that are going to be really good to just go ahead and strike into Hawkman with because they're just good options overall. Hawkman, of course, they are crazy on cards. They have the Yanagi, the counter. They have the Zantetsu, which is their ignore armor +3. Wait, are we going for turn 1 strike, actually? We just went for turn 1 strike on Hawkman. I am very surprised to see this. I'm not really used to turn 1 strike on Hawkman because normally Hawkman is playing a lot of like setup. They're usually getting boosts out and then they're going in. But Feather's just over here saying, "Hey, I have a card in hand. I'm gonna play it, and you're gonna take it." So we're gonna have to see what kind of option comes out here from Hawkman. The things that we kind of expect here are like the dive and the Gurren. So Gurren will hit for 3. Polar Plow will hit back for 5. Polar Plow will close in, Polar to range 1, and then throw the Ice Spike down. Polar Plow being a safe option into either of those, just because, you know, Gurren, it deals 3 damage, it gives Hawkman a gauge, and then Dive, of course, will just trade with Polar Plow. So both of them are perfectly fine for for Polar Knight to kind of just play into here. With this Polar Plow, I mean, the only thing that really want to be fine is if they decide to like just play an empty cross or a block or something. Actually, the Polar Plow would be fine even into block and stuff, into those baits. Alrighty, on to Rose's turn. Rose has 5 cards in hand, could look to prep here at range 1, could look to get some stuff set up, and then just kind of go from there. They do have Hawkman in the ideal space, which is in the corner. Hawkman, as we saw from another match, you don't really want to be in the corner versus Polar Knight, because Polar Knight will just go ahead and drop all the ice spikes all over the place, and then you'll be feeling pretty sad. Those ice spike damage start to rack up pretty fast if you let them. Alright, we're just going to take the prep here in Hawkman's face. This makes a lot of sense. We have a lot of things we can do against Hawkman at range 1 from Polar Knight. So we're not too scared of a lot of options that they can bring to the table here. Hawkman's going to do the same, of course, going to generate gauge number 2. Of course, once they hit gauge number 8, that's usually when we see the Hawkman exceed into the 0 gauge costs. Because all of their moves, all of their special moves, have something that costs gauge, or 2 gauge, depending on the move. And then, of course, they have their 2 4-gauge ultras and then their astral. And all of these will become free if Hawkman hits his backside here. So we'll have to see how Hawkman goes ahead and navigates this match at range 1 versus this Polar. Polar could look to boost here or could just look to strike. Pretty sure we'll probably see a boost or a raw strike here. I'm not really sure which one would be looking at in general. Main thing Hawkman has to kind of watch out for is playing like this Yanagi card, because Yanagi is going to get broken by Polar Knight in a few of these interactions. Specifically, cause not particularly as much on the front side of Polar Knight, but once we get to the back side, Yanagi is going to be pretty hard to play, considering everything's going to get +3 power as long as you land on a Ice Spike, which is a pretty scary thing to land on. Fierce gets boosted for Polar into the Massive from Hawkman. Okay, we see a Yanagi go into Gauge. All right, this Massive is a good boost. Hawkman has 2 good boosts in their kit, or 2 insane boosts in their kit, and Zacian and Massive. Zacian gives you stun immunity and then +3 power or +3 power. Add this to gauge if you are hit with stun immunity, and also the +1 range, 2 armor, 2 guard. Pretty sure we saw a dive come out to tech that. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is correct. Yep, this is correct. Welcome to the stream download. Welcome to the stream. Still in the very beginning of this matchup. Not a whole lot going on yet. Just kind of for 1 strike down. Fierce in play for Polar Knight. Means Hackman's got to be kind of careful here about what gets played. There's the Zacian. Alright, so the tech already came out, meaning that, that armor and guard is gone, but now we have the stun immunity on the Zacian, so this is pretty scary. Because depending on what this is, this could just be, this could mean just Polar is about to eat like 7 here from something like a focus. Of course, Hawkman's also going to eat a bunch of damage because of the +2 power as well on that Fierce boost. So we'll have to see how both players kind of navigate around this power on both sides. Of course, the +3 power stun immunity does have a little bit of the upper hand here overall in what we're seeing. So as we see, Rose is down 1 tech, thinking kind of carefully about what she wants to do here in regards to this stun immunity card. If she wants to just trade with it, if she wants to try and like get out, or what we have here, because we still have to play this guessing game, even if this is a stun immune as Hawkman. Because if we just end up with something like a range 1 cross, then well, we're seeing an EX. Okay, this is kind of crazy. So we'll have to see what Huckman has here in response to this EX. Stuff like Yanagi is pretty safe here because it is a 3-speed into whatever this EX is, unless this is an EX focus or something crazy. Especially Yanagi with stun immune is going to deal a ton of damage here. This is going to be the dive. Okay, here's the shovel slam. It's going to deal 8 to Hawkman. Yeah. Alright, Hawkman's gonna go end up on an ice spike. This is not where Hawkman wants to be. Hawkman is down 10 health against Polar. Thank you very much, Download, for that. I hope you have a safe flight whenever you get on, or whenever you are boarded there. Alright. Hawkman sitting on gauge number 5, 10 health down. Both players just kind of staring at each other right now, wondering what's next on the agenda here. Yeah, it's pretty hard. I mean, Hawkman, of course, is no stranger to coming back from matches, but Polar Knight is also no stranger to killing you really, 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 really fast. Yeah, I agree. It was pretty crazy by Rose to just kind of take that corner dive into account there. That was very good to see. Hawkman moving off the ice spike. I like this a lot because ice spikes mean death usually. Polar only on gauge 2, wanting to get to that gauge 3, looking for the Exceed for that juicy big damage. It's taking a second to think here whether they're going to strike or if they need to take more time to just kind of get cards on the field and form a boost and just to say we're good to go. Yeah, the context behind the corner dive there was Hawkman had the stun immune +3 power sitting out. And so Rose went ahead and went with the 8 damage thing. Looks like we'll see the Enma into the cross here. Enma, of course, will perform just fine into the cross, spending 1 gauge to close 1. This makes a lot of sense here. Just kind of like bait out that cross there, say, hey, you're not going anywhere. Part of that guessing game of Exceed. That was any kind of slow, that would have been not great. Well, we're sitting at gauge number 6 for Hawkman now. Puller sitting on 5 cards, Hawkman to 4 or Hawkman at 4. Hawkman's going to be sitting on an Exceed here soon in about the next 2 turns, if they get 2 turns, or these next 2 strikes, depending whatever comes first. So Rose just kind of has to think about what they want to do here, because they just kind of have to... Oh, Hawkman goes ahead and goes, puts another card in gauge. That's gauge number 7. Means if we see another strike come out from Rose, we're either seeing Exceed next turn or the turn after. All right, here comes the massive again. Gauge number 8 is built for Hawkman. Polar here thinking if they want to go ahead and play into this massive, if they have the other tech, or what they want to go ahead and do here, if they want to set up for a strike. Because we'll probably see Hawkman set up either look to Exceed next turn or Exceed later. Here comes the Grasp get put into play for the Fears. Notably saying here that the Massive is going to be able to be broken now. That's the main thing. Hawkman sitting on an Ice Spike. Massive's able to be broken by the Fears. Not fun. Main thing that's gonna be harder to break than the other things, of course, is going to be the sweep, because the sweep is going to end up with pretty much 10 guard, an effective 10 guard. So Hawkman kind of thinking here, do they want the Akametsu in their hand, or do they just want to Exceed immediately? Looks like we might just see the Exceed immediately. Hawkman, of course, sitting with some cards in Gauge, or Overdrive they wouldn't mind having, and Shipu kind of hits pretty much everywhere that Puller could look to go. Yanagi is always a crazy good card. We have all these crazy good cards. Oh. I think Rose wanted to take a look at the discard first before the reshuffle happened. Alright, yeah, Rose really has to think here because Hawkman has all access to all their tools. We're gonna see another EX come out here. I'm really curious what this EX is. I mean, is it possible that this is just like an EX Assault or something? I don't think this would be an EX Stomp. We already saw the yeah, we've already seen a few things. We saw the EX Shovel Slam already. And yeah, so we're gonna have to kind of see what this might be. All right, welcome back, download. Yeah, I'm really curious what this EX is and what we're gonna respond to it with, because depending on how you respond to this, it's +2 power. You're sitting on an Ice Spike. This is an additional 4 damage if you don't guess right on this. I mean, EX Assault even is just pretty insane here. We already know this isn't EX Cross, so we're feeling pretty safe about that. I mean, this could be EX No Slash. I don't think it would be, but it's very possible that this is EX Snow Slash. Looks like this could be EX Stomp, could be EX Shovel Charge, could just be EX Assault. Yeah, it's pretty much at least 6 speed. We're already down both grass, we're already down 1 cross. Fastest we can go is 8 speed. Here comes the Zantetsu. Oh man. Pretty sure Zantetsu gets pushed out, doesn't it? Oh, no, it doesn't, because it has +1 range. Yeah, it doesn't really matter where you put Zantetsu. Zantetsu's going to hit you regardless. It has 7 power. Yep. Perfect. Alright, Shovel Charge attempts to push the Zantetsu out, does fail in that endeavor. Zantetsu will go ahead and hit back for the 7. Life lead is a bit more even now. We're at 15 to 11. This is only a 4 difference. Not exactly where you want to be as Polar Knight in this kind of like life lead, but you know this is just how Exceed goes sometimes. So we'll have to kind of see how we're going to manage this. Hawkman on the down low. Main thing that you have to watch out for against Hawkman when we get down to these lower life counts is that Yukikaze. Because Yukikaze does not allow Hawkman to die if it gets played in a strike. Hawkman got to think about what they want to kind of play here. Yeah, Rose is in a pretty steady place. She's doing pretty good. Feathers is of course on the back end, but you know it's Hawkman. Hawkman doesn't really have to. Hawkman has ways to make a comeback. Hawkman is just Hawkman. Taking a second to think here about what we want to go ahead and do into this next strike. So, this next strike, these next couple strikes are going to mean a lot. So, yeah. Polar Knight has a pretty good card set. Helps him quite a bit. Yeah, it looks like it's just Hawkman here thinking. They're doing their overdrive effect. They're gonna recur a card. Think about which one. They're gonna recur the cross. They're gonna immediately use it. Go to range 1 of Polar Knight, away from these double ice spikes. Yeah. I'm a little bit interested by what we're thinking about going to range 1 here. Of course, things like Shipu do get their extra bonus damage at range 1. Yeah, but I mean, Polar Knight has enough gauge here to exceed if they want, which is the main thing that I'm kind of scared of for Hawkman here. Is because they could just go ahead and decide to fill up the corner spaces with those ice spikes, and then Hawkman could be looking at a lot of trouble with his +3 power, pretty much on deck at all times. So I'm a little bit curious about this run here. I think Feathers must have a plan in mind if they're deciding to go ahead and run. They're gonna go ahead and parry the focus. Make sure that no readings come out. So those readings come out, and sometimes they hurt. Back to Hawkman's turn. Hawkman's going to have to think about what they want to recur here. Obviously, you have options like Shipu, which is insanely hard to get away from. You have options like Yanagi, which also you can't really get away from either. You could just recur the Assault, look for that advantage chain. I mean, Rose doesn't really have, or Rose does still have both of these stomps left. It does not have any of the grasps left, notably. These stomps are going to be pretty annoying. Looks like we're going to grab the Shipu, though. This is what I was talking about. This is kind of like the scary thing here, is that if we grab Shipu, we're at range 1. Polar Knight does have ways to break Shipu, but it's not exactly the easiest. That thing has a lot of effective guard on it. Thinking here for a second what we actually want to do now that we have this Shipu back. we actually want to strike into this, play as boost. I mean, we're running out of time on this overdrive. Stuck. Wow. Feather's ping is failing. Looks like the Feathers might need a second here to kind of get their connection back in order. Looks like we're having a little bit of technical errors on Feather's end here. Feather's having a little bit of trouble connecting that 999 ping. Alright, everybody that's watching, there's just a slight pause here while we wait for Feather's ping to be stabilized. Stream's not going anywhere, we'll just be sitting here waiting on this connection to be fixed so our players can then continue. Alright, yeah, Feathers is just gonna disconnect and rejoin. It's fine. Looks like Feather's reconnected. Hopefully their ping is fixed just off of this reconnection. We don't have to deal with this too much. It does make it quite unplayable with that really large ping. Cool. Looks like that reconnected fixed the connection. And now that they've come back, they came back with a vengeance because they're striking immediately. Of course, Rose going to have to guess what this is. If they guess wrong, and this is Sheepu, they could be looking at a solid 8. Not really something you want to be looking at, especially with only this amount of life lead. But then again, you also guess wrong into something like Yanagi. Oh, EX Stomp. Into the Sheepu. This will make sure Sheepu does not do 8 damage. Sheepu's only going to do 4 here. EX Stomp will do a total of 3, which is 1. Yeah, Rose has kind of got to think here. If probably just push him on the ice spike, remove the ice spike is probably what they're looking for here. Yeah, I'm almost certain Rose is just looking to kind of push onto the ice spike, get a little bit extra damage off, get that Exceed on next turn. It's Yep, there we go. Hawkman takes a whole 1 damage from that strike. Of course, Hawkman's not sitting on the board anymore because with that feature in this mod where Hawkman grows bigger. Rose is going to exceed. This makes a lot of sense. Just kind of place down all them ice spikes in the corner and say, it's party time. Thinking about where they want that last ice spike. Of course, ice spikes don't go on top of each other. They just go on the board, one space at a time. There's only 5 of them. Hawkman now got to kind of think about what they want to do here. Of course, Rose being down both shovel drops now means that stuff like Dive is on the table, but of course Rose does still have Assault in play. You know, we're back to that kind of guessing game. Of course, Assault being 7 damage now. That's the main thing that's kind of scary here, is Assault is 7 damage. This does break everything that's not Focus on Hawkman's end, everything that's not Focus or Shipu. Of course, it doesn't break Yukikaze either, because Yukikaze is stun immune. But eating 7 at 10 life isn't exactly the most ideal thing in the world, so kind of just looking to see what we're going to do here in regards to this. There's a lot of things that we have as Hawkman here that don't hit either. So both players are going to have to think here pretty hard about what they want to do with these last couple strikes. Excuse me. And yes, winter is coming. Winter is coming indeed, download. Whew, sorry about that. Bless me. Holy moly. Alrighty. Hawkman thinking real carefully here about what they want to play. They're sitting in between a lot of ice spikes, and you know, you really don't want to be caught by any of these. These will eat up a lot of your options and say sayonara to your health bar. I kind of missed what we just recurred here, but we did see an assault go into there. There's the +2 speed. Notably, +2 speed here does make life a little bit hard. We're not really pressing the sweep button anyways while we're on top of an ice spike, so it makes sense to boost it as opposed to play it. But this does make stuff like the other assault 7 speed, which you know is pretty hard to beat for Polar Knight. Makes actually we haven't seen any spikes yet either, so spikes could also EX spike could also come out for 6 speed as well. Yeah, we haven't seen a single spike yet, I don't think, from Hawkman actually. So yeah, Rose has got to be kind of careful here, because if Hawkman is hanging on to some of these EX options, they could be in a little bit of trouble. Especially not sitting on a reshuffle here. They're still sitting on this first shuffle of their deck, which means they're getting pretty low on options. All right, we see a boost come down from them as well, which is the +2 armor one. This allows you to spend any amount of gauge to get +2 armor per gauge spent, which helps specifically for stuff like, or just kind of helps in general. You only have 1 gauge though. That's the main thing to note here, which means you're only getting +2 armor from this boost for your 1 gauge if you decide to spend the 1 gauge at all. But this is pretty much making stuff like the EX Assault a lot safer. Because even if Hawkman does drop that 7-speed Assault, you know, it doesn't really matter as much. Because he can just Assault right back, and then Hawkman's still sitting on an Ice Spike. Hawkman's going to recur a Dive here. Which means we're either going to see a pair or a tech come out, or we're just going to see Hawkman set up something. Of course, this is 6-speed Dive. Yeah, this is notably 6-speed Dive. 6-speed Dive is going to beat quite a bit of things here. It beats the EX Assault, it beats, there is no, yeah, I think it beats everything actually here. Yeah, 6-speed Dive is insanely safe here. It gets you out of the corner, it beats everything. So, I mean, we just have to play the block here. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Just drop the block. Probably block it all. Don't really see a reason why you wouldn't block at all here. Oh, it's all good, downloads. Just keep yourself safe out there. Don't make yourself sick. Alright, here comes a spike boosted from Rose at range 1, getting the defend out. +1 armor, +3 guard means that the next attack is more than likely going to hit. Rose did notably take 0 damage from that dive there, meaning they're still sitting at this 12 life. So we're still sitting at 10 life to 10 life Hawkman, 12 life Polar Knight. Hawkman having the card hand advantage here. But Hawkman is... Actually, they're still sitting okay on time. They just don't want to prep too much, otherwise they could look to run out of cards, and then, you know, they're not great. I don't think they're going to deck out this time because they still haven't used their reshuffle yet, their manual reshuffle. They've only used their Exceed reshuffle. Goodness gracious. We ended up boosting the 3 gauge for +1 power each. Here comes the other EX. I'm pretty sure this was the EX Assault. I mean, even Grasp can't break this, actually, yeah. So this doesn't really matter. I think Hawkman's a little bit kind of scared here. I think Hawkman has to play actually 5. Even if they play a slow here, it's pretty bad. I think you might just end up dropping a block if you think this is the EX Assault. I mean, that does mean that your boost goes to waste and you're going to end up throwing cards, but I mean, you're not going to take any damage, which is pretty much the main thing here. Is you don't really want to take a whole lot of damage here, and it's going to break. And if this is EX Assault, this is breaking pretty much anything that you could really think of to play. Welcome to the chat, Broken Focus. And I think I saw you follow last time, so thank you for that. Yeah, this is what I kind of expected here, is just the block to be played into the into this EX Assault, because if Hawkman decides to remove this Ice Spike now, it's going to be 8 damage, but I mean, we could just see it all blocked out of the block here. Yep, Polar's going to go ahead and just say, alright, this is 8 damage. Yeah, Polar Knight's a pretty neat character. The only downside to Polar Knight is when you're playing against someone that's good at Polar Knight, because then you end up in a corner and you're getting icicles dropped on you like there's no tomorrow. Well, that gives Polar Knight advantage here, so Polar Knight's going to have to think about what they want to do here. Polar Knight, of course, not really having much left in terms of their deck. They have 9 cards left, so that means 11 cards overall. That's about a third of their deck that they have left. A lot of their options are kind of becoming more apparent of what they have and what they don't have. Yeah, Season 4 is actually one of my lesser played sets, personally. Yeah, there's a lot of cool characters in this game, though. Season 4, you know, if you're a Shovel Knight enjoyer, or if you've decided to get into Shovel Knight, there's also the Dead Cells character. There's also the a robot named Fight character in Fight himself or themself. So you have a lot of cool kind of unique characters here. Looks like Polar's just gonna CC4 into that 5. Passing the turn back to Hawkman. Hawkman took 0 with that block, of course. This makes a lot of sense. But the main thing to note here is that Hawkman is normally in a game you're only going to get 4 copies of block because of 2 from just base and then 2 from reshuffle. Whereas Hawkman gets as many copies of block as they dang well please, because they have infinite reshuffles as long as they manage their deck well. Since every time they exceed, they get a free reshuffle. So the only person that's running out of time here is Rose, and she's going to have to go ahead and think here. about how she wants to deal with this running out of time factor. Of course, she still does have another deck, and the life totals are pretty low. But we really don't want to see, just kind of like Hockman just play all these blocks and stuff into all your cards, and then you're throwing down all these ice spikes, and everything's just disappearing. I'm hoping we kind of figure out something here, because Hockman's going to exceed again here in about 2 turns, maybe less if we initiate another strike here. Hockman still sitting on 5 cards, is not scared to drop that other block with some oomph behind it. Question is, does Polar just keep CCing here to kind of get an option? Because Hockman is sitting on that other focus somewhere. I know we saw one get parried, but if we're sitting on that other focus, that means all we have to do is wait and, pretty much read at some point. If we get a good reading off, this could be very bad for our Polar Knight player here. Oh. Moriarty showed up to recommend Gabrick. Oh no. Moriarty and their signature character Gabrick. Seasons 1, 3, and 7. Alright, what is this? This is the cross into the Polar Plow. Polar Plow going to deal 4. Place an ice spike behind. Close 3. Have the corner again as Polar Knight. We're sitting about a 3 life differential here. Oh. Range 1, kind of just looking around, seeing what we can do here. Hockman sitting at 7 gauge, 2 dives in gauge actually. There's a focus in gauge, which means I believe the other focus is in discard, which means Rose doesn't really have to worry about reading. Here comes the rebuild. Just remove a bunch of ice spikes to kind of draw a new hand. Rose reveals a hand with sweep, focus, focus, and sweep. EX sweep and focus. EX focus. Holy. Alright. Well, now that it's back to Feathers, Feathers has to think here. They're sitting in a corner when their opponent has EX sweep and EX focus in hand. The reason this is notable is because now sweep deals a buttload of damage, and there's nothing that really beats it on the side of Hakumen at range 1. Zantetsu will beat will actually beat EX focus, so that part's fine. I believe Zantetsu actually beats EX no, it doesn't beat EX sweep because EX sweep is 3 speed. But Zantetsu will trade nicely because Zantetsu is 7 power to the sweep 7 power. Alright, here comes the Exceed again from Hockman. Hockman's going to get their reshuffle again. Rose, of course, is going to... they're discussing whether Rose wants to actually look at the discard or not. I imagine Rose definitely will look at the discard here, just to be sure of what might be in Hockman's hand. Oh, okay, Rose was AFK for a second. Now they're looking at the discard. To answer your question there, Broken Focus, yeah, Vincent, it does have a similar proportion to Anji in the fact that they get guard. Vincent does tend to be a bit more spendy than Anji does overall, but they can stack a lot of guard, and then on the backside a lot of effective guard in that armor and such. Now, something that I find interesting here, to be honest, is that we just saw a sweep get played instead of EX sweep just get thrown out there. Both dives are gone, and the other Zantetsu could be in hand, but Zantetsu still doesn't beat EX sweep. It's gonna trade with EX sweep. Actually, it's gonna down trade with EX sweep. But even EX sweep actually beats Zantetsu, so they have to play a block in response to EX sweep, or they just blow up. So I'm a little bit curious to see the sweep boosted here, but it is fine. So we will see a light boosted. Curious what Rose wants to do with this light here. So like I said, I was kind of expecting the EX sweep to be played just to kind of say, hey, you have to block this or perish. And that's pretty much calling out saying, hey, Hawkman, do you have the block? So we'll see the light boosted here. Light does give options, but light into defend at range 1. I mean, that's a little bit something to think about, right? I mean, I guess we do have stuff like the Shovel Slam. But Hawkman's not sitting on any ice spikes, notably. There's only one ice spike on the field, and it's 2 spaces away. Or it's 1 space away behind Hawkman. Of course, you know, all it takes is a grasp, and then this is practically GG, but still pretty rough situation for both players. Maybe Rose was afraid of, like, the Yukikaze or something, but if you're afraid of the Yukikaze, why are you boosting light? I'm super curious as to what this light play was. Or what this is in play for. Because the only real thing you're kind of threatening here, this range, is, like, a dive to just dive over whatever. But, I mean, you really don't want to do that, because then you're, like, giving up your corner pressure. Alright, what are we looking to recur here is the real question. I mean, we're looking to recur. It looks like a dive to tech the speed specifically. Huh. Here comes the other light. Oh, hi, Chica again. Different Ultra back into Overdrive? What do you mean? Yukikaze... Was Yukikaze not the one that was already there? Shipu was there? Was it? Oh. Okay. Oh, goodness. Hey, good catch. It looks like Feathers caught it themselves, but good catch there, Chica. I mean, I never would have noticed that. Yeah, why is there only 5 cards in there now? Oh, there we go. Okay. Not really sure what just happened. It looks like we just recurred another dive in order to tech the other sweep. So both dives are effectively back in Hawkman's discard again. I mean, Hawkman's is leaving good cards in their overdrive here. I mean, Shipu, of course, hitting pretty much anywhere the puller can go. Really hard to break. Focus, of course, being a similar card in that matter. It's just that Shipu is objectively better when it comes to Hawkman in their overdrive state than the Focus. Especially at this range. Actually, it's just objectively better overall for the most part. Block and Zentetsu. Block, of course, being very effective against making sure, you know, you don't die. And then Zentetsu being the game closer. Polar only at 9 health, which means in 2 more health, they could just use Zantetsu and die for pretty easily if they guess wrong. So we'll have to see how Rose wants to go ahead and deal with this kind of situation here. Although, notably, this does mean that because of this mistake, Rose does know that there is a Shipu or a Yukikaze in Hakumen's hand. This is notable because Yukikaze is the card that, if you go faster than it, it just straight up deals 6 to you. It's only 6 damage, and Rose was 9 health, is clearly not a threat. True! Now, the main problem with Yukikaze at this health is that it is 6 damage, but it also means the Hawkman can't die when they play Yukikaze. That's the main part of Yukikaze that kind of matters here, is they can't die. Yukikaze is a pretty insane card. Can't die, hits full field, advance 2. I mean, close 8, yeah. Pretty nutty card. Pretty nutty card, pretty nutty boost. Going back to range 3. Probably just want to make sure that we don't get grasped out of whatever we're looking to do, I'm guessing. Either that or we're looking to threaten something like a spike. But even spike really doesn't kill here because Yukikaze will still go off. Unless we're specifically looking for block to parry Yukikaze. Maybe we're just waiting out the overdrive. Maybe that's what we're doing. It's kind of like a very, very kind of calculated last couple of turns here that the players are doing. It's kind of setting up their hands, making sure they're all good to go. Because, I mean, Hakuin just can't drop Yukikaze willy-nilly either, because if Rose decides to bait Yukikaze, I mean, they won't die, but it's also not going to hit anything. Hakuin's going to go ahead and drop the Zantetsu to recur the focus. Looking to read. Reading the focus, that means we're seeing a spike played here, or a dive. Both are really bad here. Oh, it's just a sweep. Yeah, now we're at this really big problem of we have to wait for the next turn to pass, because we can't die to Yukikaze. Dying to Yukikaze here is not great. Thinking about where we want this ice spike. We get it within range 2. We gotta think like pretty hard here about what we want to do, because we do the wrong thing and we're just kind of like sad about it. We see the fears get boosted for Polar, setting up for this turn here. The reason this is specifically notable is because Hawkman is out of gauge, which means Yukikaze is no longer on the table. Like, even if Hawkman just decides to take a slow turn here and boost something, Yukikaze is still not on the table for another long while. So, like, this is literally either player's game right now. Is now that Yukikaze is off the table, this is no longer Hawkman's. Oh, Hawkman's going to go to range 1. We see a grass get thrown into gauge from the top of that deck. Saw a couple of cards get pitched. 2 cards get pitched to move up 2. Parrying block. Hawkman really got to consider like a reshuffle here or something. I haven't been doing a great check of keeping track of what's in Hawkman's discard here, but if both blocks are down, we're going to have to consider something like a reshuffle. Of course, Rosa's going to need to strike here pretty much next turn or the turn after, because if we wait too many turns and Yukikaze comes back up, that's pretty much lights out. What's also insanely crazy here is that even Cross isn't safe from something like Polar Plow. We really have to like kind of make a decision here as Hawkman. If we're down both blocks, this could be insanely bad for us. And we're bound down both dives already, which means we're not diving over anything. Are we just? Yeah, we're just pitching the whole hand. Whew. Alrighty. Well, I'm almost certain that Hawkman's looking for the other block here. I mean, Polar is just kind of like playing, specifically trying to end the game because, you know, they have the damage. They have +3 if they decide to stay on this ice bike. They have +2 on Fierce. So Hawkman really has to kind of guess right here. Or they just kind of they just kind of die. They're down both dives, so there's not really a good way out of this. The only like real way out of this would be something like Zantetsu, but there's no EX Zantetsu, so it's only speed 2, which means it loses to the same options a lot of other things do. Very much. Oh, the wild swing block into the cross. Five incoming says we're not going to remove the ice spike. Makes a lot of sense. I like this. The wild swing block there was insane. Holy. Yeah, no, this isn't great. This is back in Hawkman's court. Uh, it pretty much comes down to, does Hawkman have the other Yukikaze? Yeah, this is a really bad situation for Polar because Haku just built the 4th gauge. Which means Polar pretty much has to pay attention to the fact of, does Haku have the other Yukikaze? If they do, bad situation. If they don't, manageable. Gauge number 4 has been generated. Three cards in deck for Hawkman. Yeah, what's funny is this cross was actually 2 damage over lethal. If that wasn't a block. There's the other cross. There's the cross from Hawkman, which means last 6 cards are pretty much known for Rose at this point. Yeah, you really got to think here because this next strike could just be last. More than likely is just last, in all honesty. Yeah, Rose really has to debate here, like what is up and what's going to be played. Oh, here we go. This is probably the last strike of the game. Either player guesses wrong, this is the other player's game. Main thing to note here is that if this is a slow into Spike, Spike does not kill. Both dives are down. Yukikaze hits the wrong thing though, and yeah. Here's the Exalt. The EX Assault though. Oh my god. Focus. There's the Yukikaze. Yeah, it was a pretty intense game. I don't blame I don't blame Rose for wanting to get water. That was a 1-0. Yeah, that was really intense. Right at the end there. That was like a lot of big thought. Rose gonna go ahead and go with the Rachel for their second match. So notably, there is no chip. I mean, of these characters, I think Rachel has a pretty solid chance into a lot of them. In all honesty, into any of these 3 characters, Milia, Ryu, or Haku. Pretty solid chance, I think. Yeah, that was crazy intense. I wonder if I wonder why Feathers didn't just drop the Yukikaze there, to be honest. I wonder what the thought process was behind not just dropping the Yukikaze. Because that Yukikaze catches a lot of options. I mean, yeah, it blows 4 gauge. Maybe they're worried about like getting block baited. I think about big red number, then he explodes. uh, yes, Moriarty. We know you love the 15 damage 13 EX13 story, or is it like no, it's 17 damage EX13 story, right? 17 damage EX13 story. Good old 17th story Oblivion. Oh. Oh yeah, Rose has been playing Polar for a long time. Rose has also been playing. Rose has been playing all these characters for a while, actually. Yeah, Rachel, Polar, and Linne. Yeah, these are the OGs. Here's some OGs. Yeah, if I was gonna kind of have to consider here what they want to play into this Rachel, I mean, Rachel, of course, she has a lot of zoner tools. She has a lot of keep me out or keep you out kind of tools. In the fact that she wants to get set up with her lightning rods and then just kind of like hit you. She can stun you with a lot of different silly things. At least a week. Uh, yeah. I think Feathers is just kind of taking a look over these cards here and then thinking about what they want to play into this Rachel here. I mean, it's not that Rachel can't brawl; it's that she doesn't prefer to brawl without setups. Because as I experienced before, there's actually a tiny Lobelia loop that can happen, which is not really fun to be caught into. It's only 3 damage per hit, 3 to 5 damage per hit, but it's not exactly the most thing in the fun thing to be hit by. You also have a lot of different options, of course. And as I've learned as well, Clownish Calendula is actually very hittable as well. Yeah, Rachel requires practice. She is definitely a technical character. There's very few Rachel players, and Rose is like the main one that you think of when you think of Rachel. Moriarty says Ryu. Feathers is going with the Milia here though. Alrighty, we're seeing the Milia and Rachel. This is something that I thought that Feathers might actually do here because Milia she's Milia. She stuns you. She moves all over the place. She has a lot of like above speed or above curve or she has some good above curve options. Bad Moon is a crazy card. Milia is just a very solid character. She kind of just dances around you and just kind of beats you at your own game. Milia does not get free range here as she normally would though. Notably, is that because stuff like Whirlwind does exist, stuff like Flying Lobelia does exist, and I mean Flying Lobelia is not going to work against Hair Car at like range 4, but I mean stuff like these other ones can actually beat out some of Milia's options. So Milia does kind of have to have some level of care here because of Rachel's faster options. And yeah, as you're saying, their focus, not letting the zoner breathe. That is probably the main name of the game here that we're gonna see is don't let Rachel have chance to breathe or get set up. Milia is gonna be looking to just kind of play these options all in Rachel's face, and then hopefully just kind of win all these or win these and just kind of win. Season 7 versus outside characters, cross season with season 7 is, in my experience, is mostly how well can you deal with season 7's action compression. Season 5, I don't believe has too much of an issue with it because season 5 has these big boosts. Season 5 and below have the big boost. They have the light. They have the +2 power. They have all these options that allow them to go ahead and say, "Hey, I can compete with your series of stuff that you're about to pull out because I just have these things." But what we're going to see here from Millie is we're going to see the Spider's Thread boosted, pulling Rachel 1 into range 3. Just keep S7 in poverty? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I don't think, from my experience, I don't think Season 5 and below has too much of an issue with the action compression that Season 7 has. Just because, they have a lot of, they still have the good boosts. I mean, light being notable compared to something like Badass. Badass giving the EX and then these +1 speed boosts, they're cool. But light, of course, giving the solid +2 speed. Crazy. +2 power, also crazy. We have all these options. Looks like we're going back to range 5 and we're striking. Looks like we're just crossing from the live flying Lobelia. Validating with a... I didn't see what that was. I think that's a tiny Lobelia. That's either tiny Lobelia or electric chair. I'm surprised we crossed out here. We don't take any damage when we cross out here. But I mean, Rachel can just go one. Yeah, Rachel can just move one and then move one with her UA and then strike with Tiny if she has it. Or just prep. I mean, she could just take this time to prep, so we'll have to see what's kind of going on here. +4 guard boosted, saying, hey, Rachel, strike into me or I get a free gauge. Makes a lot of sense. We're going to be striking here. This must just be a block. I mean, we're not sitting at anything where Tiny Low Belly actually hits. Block into block. Both players get a free gauge. S3 is just about as aggressive as S7. Really? Alright, I have to hear your thoughts about that later there, Moriarty. Alright, we're going to see preps on both sides. Millia going up to 7 cards, Rachel going up to 5. Millia probably looking for something like the advanced 3 to kind of start getting back in Rachel's face. Now that she has a gauge available, she can go ahead and cancel that advanced 3 to kind of start on that trend of getting back into Rachel's face. Most characters in S3 want to strike every turn. Yeah, that's actually pretty fair. Yeah, that is pretty fair, actually. Alright, here we go. Advance 1, draw 1, take another action. Yeah. S7 does have the problem of if you just kind of knock them out of their strikes, out of getting that gauge, then they just kind of starve out. They can be impoverished. Well, Milia back at range 3 of Rachel. She did not cancel the dash, she just did advance 3. Rachel just going to prep here. Keep them in poverty. We're still sitting at a 30-30 life. This is pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. How many cards have we seen go down? We've only seen 5 and 3 cards go down. No boost played. Both players just kind of took their time getting back up to maximum hand size. And now we're probably going to get to see some Exceed played. Being poor in Season 2 hurts so much. You know, Season 2 is that funky season. It's a fun season. I'm a big DeJohnette fan myself. Moriarty just heard somebody say Guile. Take back what you said after you heard Guile. Yeah, true. Season 2 is fun for me to poop on. Oh man. Season 2 is pretty cool. I like the design likes behind Season 2. Main gameplay problem I run into with Season 2 is how lazy a lot of the characters like to be. That's like the main thing I dislike about it, but I think all the card art is really cool and some of the like UAs and stuff are pretty unique and neat. I'm just not a big fan of like how their gameplay kind of goes. Rachel's gonna run onto her lightning rod. This has literally just been a game of footsie so far. Both players are just kind of going where they need to, trying to get in position before they start striking. Rachel will be notably down a cross, a flying lobelia, and a cross and a flying lobelia are pretty much the notable things here. they still do have these whirlwind options if they think that they're running into something like, oh, here we are. Turbo Fall, before advance to retreat 1, hit a gain advantage. With a cancel. Just remember, Focus, you've never truly missed any of these seasons. You can still buy them. They just take a lot of money now. Alright, here we go. Amelia with the strike, with advance or retreat 1, hit gain advantage. This could be a million things. Or this could be spike, this could be die, this could be literally anything. We're just going to try and cross out of whatever this is. This is the sweep. Alright. Still 0 damage has been taken. Here comes a strike. I'm almost certain this is... what? Either flying Lobelia or tiny Lobelia? Okay, both crosses are down for both players. Okay. Holy. Cross the game. Alright, we're at range 8. Neither player is going to hit anything from this range. Taxi meta intensifies. Yeah. Oh, here's the tiny Lobelia. Tiny Lobelia coming out here. This pretty much asks the question, right? Does Haircar hit here? Yeah, it does. Wait, no, it doesn't. It does not hit here. Focus into tiny Lobelia. Focus will draw 1, take 1 damage. First blood is on the table. Holy, we did it. I think it's been like 6 to 10 rounds, somewhere in that range. But we got one. We got that 1 damage, and we did it. All right, we found first blood. Rachel's sitting on 3 gauge. 3 gauge means we are in Exceed range, actually. I doubt we'll see Rachel Exceed with 2 cards in hand, but it is very possible. Someday we'll find range 9. Yeah. The day we find range 9 is the day that New is very happy. All new players will rejoice when we find range 9. Everyone else will be sad. Alright, here we go. +1 speed boosted for Milia. Hit, draw 1, or gain advantage. Gets teched. Makes sense. No 2-year +1 speed gain advantage. Never fun. Of course, Milia having like a bajillion of those cards. We're gonna move to range 2 as Milia. Now that Rachel doesn't have any crosses, this is perfectly fine. I mean, range 2 and range 3 aren't going to be any different. They still both are going to get hit by Whirlwind. Now that we're sitting at range 2, though, we're going to go to range 1, boost +2 power. I mean, both crosses are down for both players, so, you know, this is kind of scary. And a Swing Braid is down notably. Amelia doesn't really have a lot of ways to break guard without those, actually. Or to break guard when Swing Braid is down. There's one Swing Braid down, and they don't really have a way to dodge any of these slows otherwise. Oh, here's Lust Shaker. Oh, we're getting spicy here. Oh, here comes out the +2 speed. Oh, man. We're taking that +2 speed. Makes sense. You know what's actually really funny here is that Rachel has the infamous sweep with 7 guard on it. The good old electric chair. We really have to think about what this is. Oh, here comes EX Focus. Into a sweep. 9 power sweep will not do it if you decide to spend the force here. Think about if we want to spend any force here. If we spend force here, we're pretty much trading down, I think, still. But we're still trading evenly. Or still trading decently. Alright. So this is going to be 6 damage to Rachel. And 5-7 damage back to Milia. Yeah, this entire game has been like a game of chicken, pretty much. A game of chicken chess. Both players are just now like kind of hitting each other. Yep, EX focus. Yep, Milia got $1. Milia gets $1. Rachel's sitting at $3. Retreating 2, boosting. This is Lotus Barrel. Boosting Lotus Barrel, throwing down. I'm pretty sure that was Tempest Dahlia that just got thrown down. Now, talking from experience, playing against Rose's Rachel is not easy. Whenever you see Rose's Rachel come out, you're always kind of thinking to yourself, because this character isn't something you think about a lot until you play against somebody that knows how to play it, and then it just is there. It is on your field of vision. Yeah, this character is actually pretty sleeper nuts. 5. That was a good grasp call. Holy. Oh no, Milia. Oh no, here's the X-Seed. It's party time for Rachel. Alright, main thing here. Rachel gets to do this lovely thing called play a continuous boost from hand during overdrive, and then they can go on with their turn. They're gonna parry some. Oh, wait, no. Oh, okay, so they play. Is this George? I think this is George. Yeah, this is George. Oh no. Oh no, this is George. George is a menace, especially when Rachel's in overdrive. Just like in the video game, George is a menace. For any of you that don't know, George is the frog. Alright, here's Whirlwind. This is gonna be 6 damage, so this will be 5 to Milia. Well, actually 4. 4 damage to Milia. And George will stay on the field because of Whirlwind. Milia, $1, no hand, looking at a frog and a vampire. A vampire, a frog, an imp, and a cat walk into a bar. Oh. Alright, here's the. Oh, it's Bad Moon. Oh. They say owl. Yeah. +2 speed. What is this? Wait, did Rose validate this? Did Rose validate Sylphid Flight? I think so. Wait, I don't know. Did anybody catch if Rose validated Sylphid Flight? Okay, she did. Cool. Another spike. Alright. Yeah, she boosted it. Doesn't Sylphid Flight cost one to boost though? One force, or am I just tripping? I can't see the back of cards because I'm in spectator mode. Oh wow, both players are actually dangerously low. Yeah, Sylphid Flight does take one force. I'm pretty sure it was validated, but it went so fast that I couldn't see if a Sylphid Flight got validated. Alright, Winger will actually perform extremely well here. Holy crap. That's actually one of the first times I've seen Winger hit. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either. Like that's something I'll have to go back and check the VOD on. Yeah, UA because it's done. Tempest Dahlia, Tiny Lobelia getting shown. Alright, now that we're sitting back at this place, this game is back. Millia's back into this game. This was actually very controlling by Rachel for a while. Millia's found her way back. Both players sitting on fresh decks again. This is a little bit scary. Yeah, we're just gonna wild swing whatever this is. Makes sense. Swing Braid's gonna perform extremely well into this sweep. Yeah, this is just another one of those situations. Now Rachel's on the back end. Rachel having no hand is very bad. Rachel having one gauge, no hand, that is not great at all. This game swung around really fast. Melia really just striking. They're basically top decking, but top decking with the top 3 cards. EX Tiny Lobelia into other Bad Moon? Oh no. Yeah, this game's very much fallen out of Rachel. Yeah, that is true. Still striking. Block into whatever this is. Block into car. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not GG because they're not going to be stunned. Rachel does have to block at least either all of this or part of it. Looks like they're just going to block all of it using the Baden-Baden. Makes sense. One, two, three, four. Four going to draw 5. This also makes a lot of sense. Here we are. Rachel literally just looking for options at this point. Doesn't seem like she's getting a lot. She doesn't really have any cards to CC with in the first place, and then, this kind comes out. Notably, the other Bad Moon is still on the table, which is the unfortunate part for Rachel here. Bad Moon could close out this game so fast. And all Amelia really needs to do to make it completely safe is to do a +1 speed. Wait, Lost Shaker actually got boosted. I mean, I respect this as well. Pretty much saying, yeah, there's the block. Into the grasp. Not going to spend any force for this. Almost certainly. Unless we want to make, I mean, even if we spend 3 force for this, Rachel will only has to spend 2 force to block all of it. I don't think we're dropping anything for this, but, I mean, we could. Yep, no spend. This makes a lot of sense. What would actually been crazy here is if we had low kick for this play. Gaining that advantage into that other block. Oh my goodness, it would have been insane. Yeah, we're kind of thinking real hard here. I mean, yeah, Rachel just has a lot to think about here on what they want to spend. Because they're going to have to spend... Looks like they're just going to take the 1, generate the 3rd gauge. I mean, the problem is Amelia's not in kill range by any means. They can get Amelia down to 1 if they want with the something like Tempest. But, I mean, they still have all these slow options to worry about. And one spike being down, I mean, you really have to be careful about what you play here. We're out of blocks now. That's, like, the main notable... The main notable thing being that we're out of blocks here. Because being out of blocks is just, once you're out of blocks and you have no reshuffles left, that's it. You are praying for game. Not to say that it can't be done, just saying it's hard. Feather's really taking their time to think here, which I completely respect. I mean, this is it. You give the turn back to Rachel, you could be looking at a hefty amount of damage. You are up 7 life though, so you do have the tools to kind of play with here. You're not going to die in 1 strike at least, unless something like Fierce comes out. That's the only thing that'll make it so that you can actually die is Fierce. Boost the +4 guard. Strike. Probably GG, depending on what this is. Pretty sure most any mid-speed works here pretty well. Yep, Tandem Top will do it. Alright, Feathers takes game 2 on Milia. We're on to final game, game 3. This does determine top 3. I want the first person of top three in top three. Yep. Brothers has to decide here if they want to play Haku or Ryu. I'm almost certain they'll heavily influence what Rose plays here. Unless Rose is already set on playing Linne. Man, what a wild match. What a wild set this has been. Hakumen's coming back out, making their second appearance. We're seeing the Season 5 matchup, baby. Rachel versus Hakumen. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, Linne might be a little bit hard to play into Hakumen, so I kind of get this choice here. Alrighty. Final game. Winner gets to go to top 3 confirmed. Winner's getting a paycheck. Yep, Hakumen with his passive income. Alrighty. Rachel starting us off, turn 1. Hakumen notably has this beautiful card called Yanagi, which performs into all of Rachel's range 4 options extremely well, exceedingly well. Haha, get it? Exceedingly? Not turn 1 though. Not turn 1, it doesn't perform garbage for turn 1. Okay. Yanagi's gets the break because it's turn 1. Rachel going to take first turn prep. Hackman's probably going to boost something here. Boost massive. Makes sense. Gets the Yanagi into gauge. But now the problem is you prepped, so now you have to deal with the consequences of prepping, which is Hackman has this boost called massive on the table, and you have to figure out how to deal with it. You can't stun it with your normal shenanigans. Retreat 2, play Tiny. Makes sense. Yanagi will spend a gauge. Sets Hackman back one gauge. Both Yanagis are down now. Hackman has no gauge to worry about it anyways. All right, well we have George in our gauge now. Sitting at range 4. Hawkman's range 4 options now include Dive and Gurren and other massive. I mean, Hawkman's probably going to be content here to prep some or boost some more, I bet. I mean, unless they really want to go for the strike, but of course, if they try to go for the strike, they are worried about stuff like flying Lobelia. Looks like we pitch cards to move up to range 2, saying, hey, we don't want to deal with that flying Lobelia. Makes sense. Don't want you to recur the Tiny either. We see a Grasp get thrown into gauge from Hawkman. Hawkman now at range 2 from Rachel, which means that Hawkman has plenty of cards to hit. Main thing to be worried about for Rachel here is... Alright, here comes a +2 speed. Hawkman does have to be wary here, of course. I mean, Rachel has to worry about all these slows that can be played. Probably like the biggest concern here. Biggest concern here is the slows, because, you know, the slows can't be pushed out as easily. We could see something like a Spike Drop come out, but Spike Drop isn't really going to break anything. Here comes the stun immunity from Hawkman. Into that +2 speed. This is a really good boost in the +2 speed. I mean, you're almost guaranteed to be hit every time if you play a slow here, so... We're going to tech the stun immunity. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, we don't want to see stun immunity get put on the field with the +3 power. Kind of a ridiculous boost, in my opinion, this Zanshin. Still not as good as Mirror of the World, but still crazy. Back to Hawkman's turn. Hawkman boosts the other Zanshin. Well, I mean, if I see Zanshin, I'm just sad. Zanshin is pretty much just a 7 power focus. Because, I mean, it doesn't get stunned. And since you have +2 speed on the field, you're always going faster than anyways. So, I mean, you're just gonna take this in the face regardless of what you do. Unless you decide to dive over. But one of your dives is down now, so... Alright, we're gonna meet the +3 power halfway and say, alright, we got +2 power. We're gonna have a power off here. Question is, does Hawkman have another plus power to follow up to this? Hawkman gonna take the prep action. Other grasp goes into Gage along with the cross and the Yukikaze. Rachel's just gonna prep here. Both players sitting at 7 and 5 cards respectively. 2 boosts on the side of Rachel, 1 boost on the side of Hawkman. My camera's kind of off center. I'm bringing it on back. With the way the other game's been going, I'm kind of expecting this game to go just as pretty much as slow as the other ones have. Just kind of slow and steady wins the race, you know. Rachel prepped up to 7 cards. Hawkman's gonna attack the +2 power. Say, hey, I'm the only one allowed to have power on this table. Okay. Trying to pay a little bit of extra attention in this match if I can. Okay, throw another card down. Not sure what card that was that got thrown in there, but we have a card on Haku Space now. I mean, it is the equivalent of +2 power anyways. Oh my god. It's Tsubaki. Man, I really hope the Rachel dries the other dive soon. Because otherwise this is looking like the stupidest focus in the history of ever. It's like 10 power focus. Like, even if we block it here, it's still not even that great. The only thing that's doing anything here is dive. But this is literally just Haku's gameplay though. A sweep engage along with a rank. This was Renka, right? Enma. Alright, well, we're out of the corner now, so now we can actually threaten things again. Uh, yeah, I mean, now that we're out of the corner, we can threaten the other cross, stuff like that. That's pretty much the main notable thing to threaten here is the other cross, because it'll take us out of whatever we need to get out of. The only thing that follows here is Yukikaze. And yeah, I mean, it is Yukikaze. Yeah, this really is the only other card that follows from Haku is Yukikaze. Alright, we're pairing cross. Do we have it? We do not have it. I don't think there's a single. Is there a single way for one, 2, 3, 4, 5? There's range 5. And that dodges focus, but it doesn't dodge sweep. So yeah, this is pretty rough either way. Anyway, which way you look about it. And Rachel can't retreat 3 either. Rachel doesn't even have enough gauge for that anyways. I mean, ideally you just want to retreat here and probably play something like a Lobelia. Yeah, I'm almost certain that's like the main thing you want to do is just retreat and play something like a Lobelia if you have it. Yeah, there's the retreat too. Reading. Reading the focus. I mean, this has to be Tiny Lobelia, right? Or not Tiny. This has to be either Flying or Tiny, yeah. There's the Dive. Dive, Ranka, Assault, Block. I mean, if this is Tiny, nothing really wins into it. I mean, Flying? If this is Tiny, then you play the Dive every day of the week. Yeah, I mean, Hakuin doesn't really have any good options in this. Probably the best option is Dive. Even if it hits really hard. If it misses, it at least yeah, at least gets yeah. I don't know, if I'm Haku here, I'm probably playing the Dive every day of the week. Just in case it's Tiny. Yep, they'll perform extremely well. What's going on? I imagine you just spend all 3 gauge here, don't you? Alright, yeah, I'm pretty sure you just spend all 3 gauge, get the +6 power dive for 11 damage. I mean, Hawkman's only eating 5 here. I believe I just saw a Grasp go back into hand. Yeah, I was almost certain this dive was the correct play regardless, because even if this was flying Lobelia, I mean, it pushes dive 1, dive misses, but at least you're at range 2 again. Well, this kind of explains why you'd go for the reading, though. No spend. Okay, I'm really surprised by this. One spend. Spending a grasp. Okay. Huh. I'm kind of surprised we didn't just cash out there. Maybe we're looking specifically for the Exceed. Okay, yeah, that's what we're looking for, specifically to Exceed. Hawkman's gonna go ahead and Exceed here. Decides not to physically flip their card, though. I'm sure we'll see that here in a second. Bro's probably just taking a second to think here. Thank you. Alright, perfect. Alright, Hackman is on backside now. This card has been reshuffled. Made sure he was flipped just for stream, or for stream, and for recording purposes. Make it easier. Rachel's gonna strike into Hackman. This makes you ask the question of, I mean, we saw Hackman's hand earlier. So, I mean, this pretty much asks the question of, Hackman, what are you gonna play? Play from hand here or Wild Swing. Looks like we're gonna get the Yukikaze from Wild Swing. This won't get stunned, so we'll probably just take the damage here. Yep, just take the extra 2 damage from your thing there. Yep. Alright, this is on to Hackman now. Hackman gonna think here what they want to take. I mean, Hackman probably just takes like Sheepu and lets it rip here. It's not really a reason not to. I mean, Rachel doesn't really have anything to stop it anyways. Except for block. Could cross out to deal 1 damage and take 4, but that's not optimal. If they even have a cross. Could dive over it. Some options, but not very many good ones. Alright, Hackman's gonna grasp back, keeping the just grasp title alive. I respect it. Yeah, Rachel's probably looking to do the other option to get rid of Sheepu, which is to just grasp it and toss it out of the way. That way that you only take 4 as opposed to the 8 that you normally take. Rachel here sitting at a 6 life deficit, which is not great. Rachel's going to go ahead and continue prepping, going up to 6 cards. Hackman will go ahead and recur another card from their overdrive pile here in a second. Thinking about what they want to get. Cross, dive, sweep. I mean, pretty much everything here performs pretty dang well. Each of them has like, you know, their kind of pitfalls. Tossing the rank or the Enma makes sense. I mean, Enma doesn't hit here anyways without a reach. Grabbing the Yukikaze for massive. I doubt we just play it here. I mean, Rachel still has focus and stuff. But it does make playing those faster options kind of like a guessing game here now. Looks like we just closed to range 1. Oh, I see. We boosted Kishu. Oh. Oh no. I think I know what's coming. Oh no. I think Feathers is inside of Rose's head right now. I think that's exactly what's happening. Is I think Feathers is in Rose's head, and this is about to turn out very badly now. We're gonna take no damage with this block, but I mean, I'm almost certain we just see the other Sheepu rip here. Recurring Enma. Yeah, this has to be Sheepu. If this isn't Sheepu, I'll be very surprised. Rutro Raggy. There's the Sheepu into the dive. There's the dive. We did it. We lived. We're alive. Oh man. Ain't that something? Alright. Scary thing. Yukikaze's in hand. Yeah, that's pretty much the scary thing here, is if we play fast, Yukikaze's in hand. And that's something we have to be very mindful of, because that's another 6 damage in our face. I mean, even if we play sweep here, we still have to deal with Yukikaze, because Yukikaze's 2-speed for some reason. We're just going to prep. That means we're going to get another recursion here from Hackman. Hackman had a pretty productive overdrive, I think. Regardless of what they decide to pick up here. I mean, I imagine we'll just probably either see... We'll see whichever one they want to boost here. Put into their hand. Yeah, here's the sweep. Perfect. Notably, now that +2 speed is in here, we don't have to worry about Yukikaze as much anymore. We do now have to worry about stuff like Spike and Dive and such, though. But the other Yukikaze is just kind of like one of those things where it's, where it just is. It just is now, but it's +2 speed, so if you end up worrying about it, it's going to exist. Rachel probably has a real chance here. I'm pretty sure Rachel still has plenty of chance here. Pretty sure we'll see Rachel here overdrive, I'm thinking. Retreating 2. Striking. Yukikaze isn't faster than Lobelia, though. That's the thing here. I mean, this really makes Hawkman think, though, if they want to play the Yukikaze. At least I don't think it is. Is it faster than Tiny? No, it's not. It's only 2 speed. So yeah, with +2 speed, it's only 4 speed. Tiny performs pretty terribly into it, actually. But will Haku actually drop it? That's the real question. Like, Haku actually has to pay pretty much, or to cash out in order to drop this. And they'll get another gauge back to actually spend for their moves, but, I mean, they still have to think. Block into the Tiny here. Two blocks engaged, choosing to take 0. This makes sense. This makes a lot of sense here, just choosing to take 0. We'll put the Tiny Lobelia onto Hackman's space. Yukikaze is still live in our hand, though, so we do have to be mindful of that if we're Rachel, that Yukikaze is alive on Haku's side. And Haku is literally only, like, 3 turns off of being able to exceed anyways. There's the Fumajin. Alright. We're just kind of taking this game real slow anyways. There's no reason to rush anything. Main thing is that you always have to worry about when you're fighting against Hakumen, though, is that, well, we're just, I see. Just dealing 2 to recur Tiny makes sense. Spending a force. Yeah. Yeah, Tiny went to hand. Yeah, they were thinking about keeping Fumajin in play, but then decided not to. I agree with this decision. I mean, Rachel's at range 4 now. I mean, Rachel just has to watch out for the same thing that she's been watching out for, which is pretty much the Yukikaze. I mean, that's it. It exists. It's a real option. Hackman can bring in. I mean, this is just Tiny again, isn't it? Either Tiny or this is flying. If this is Tiny, you can beat it with Gurren. If this is flying, then you'll get baited if you play Gurren. Main funny thing here is though is that if you play the Yukikaze, you actually end up taking 5 because you'll advance onto the lightning rod. Like that's probably the funniest part about this positioning here is if you do play the Yukikaze, you just go straight onto the lightning rod. Which I mean, you don't really want to go onto the lightning rod, so I'm still curious which character or what character that is on Rose's profile picture. I don't recognize that character. There's the flying Lobelia coming out. Looks like a focus was played into it. Hakumen will take 1 damage here. I think Hakumen's just looking for Exceed again. Utena? I don't know who Utena is or what she's from, in all honesty. I do not recognize this character or what game they're from. I do not. I'll have to ask Rose like once the game's over or something if nobody recognizes her. Revolutionary Girl Utena. Oh, it's an anime. Huh. I'll have to look it up after the show, or after this, I almost said after this show. How long have we been watching Exceed for, actually? Let's see. This is a 2-hour game. Yeah, this is a 2-hour game. I've been watching Exceed for 2 hours. Holy smokes, it's 11 o'clock. Alright. Yeah, I'll have to look it up after after I'm done here. Which, this is the last match, so... Jesus, that's too much time. Oh, it's definitely the longest game in the series so far. But I mean, it is winners semi, so I can't really blame them. What'll be really fun is when we get to winners finals. Finals is gonna be a lot of fun. Long. Oh. Hackman's card only increases in size once. Yeah. welcome, Chizif. Yeah, this match is still going. This match is still going. We're here. We're here for the long haul. I'll have the VOD up on YouTube. On YouTube probably after. It'll probably take a little bit longer to upload than usual since this is a 2+ hour match. Reckon we'll probably be done here within the next at most half an hour. At most half an hour, at least like 10 minutes or so. Oh, somebody followed. Thank you for following, Chizif. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I can't tell if it's Chizif or Chiz. Hawkman's sitting at 8 gauge again with the Shipu boosted. I mean, Hawkman's just going to exceed next turn. Hawkman has stun immunity with +3 power. So, I mean, they could just happily play kind of whatever they want here. Moriarty talking from experience with a 6-minute exceed game. Oh, hi, Extra. Rachel and Exceed boost +1 speed, draw 1, or gain advantage on hit. Hakuin sitting with stun immunity +3 power. I wonder what this is. I mean, do we just drop the 9 power Yukikaze here? We dropped the Yanagi. Eight. Rachel has advantage. Clean up places, flying into... Oh yeah, Zanshin also goes to gauge. How crazy is that? Alright, one Lobelia engage, another Lobelia on top of Hawkman. Both flying. Alright. Sitting 5 to 11 health. Impish Gypsophila. Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, there's no way for Hawkman to die here. Like, it's literally impossible for Hawkman to die here. But I mean, Hawkman hasn't dropped. I don't think I've seen Hawkman drop Yukikaze once in either game. So, like, we're gonna have to see here. Or Wild Slinging. Is there that good of a chance of getting chair? Huh? +1 power Wild Sling. Huh. This actually raises a really interesting question. What do we play? Yeah, because what do we play into response here? I mean, pretty much looking through everything, seeing what we can play into response here. The Assault into the Whirlwind. Okay. I mean, we're probably not pushing or pulling them. Interesting. Okay, both players sitting at 5. Hawkman still sitting at the better end of the table here, with the Yukikaze still in hand. Once again, as I've mentioned before, Yukikaze does not die. Here comes the Hawkman reshuffle and Exceed. Huh. Whirlwind sustains the impish Gypsophilia. Okay. Well. Huh. Huh. Like, what do we do here? Do we have any blocks left? I mean, if we don't have blocks, I mean, this is just a kind of a dangerous situation regardless, isn't it? What did we just do? Overdrive ticks, boosting, gust of wind. Okay, this is an interesting question as well. Wait, can we just like... Wait, do we just have like the biggest brain play in existence here? Do we have a tiny in hand? But it's just also like the biggest brain play ever. What in the world? What? Okay. Okay, so we're going for the reshuffle here. Oh my goodness, I just went to space. We have Astral. We can't play Astral, but we have it. I don't think we'd... Yeah, no kidding. All these games have ended absurdly tight. That's insane. I mean, Hockman... Do they even need a recur? Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think they need to recur a block here. They're gonna recur. Oh yeah, they are gonna recur a block. Probably to parry Impish, aren't they? I mean, not Impish, Clownish. Just say, hey, Rachel, you don't get your burst. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, just parry the Astral here. Parry the Focus. Wait, what? The Focus doesn't hit here anyways. What? What is this? I mean, all these are legitimate options, though, too. That's the funny part. Hey, Yukikaze. Yeah, makes sense. Fear reading. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that loses Hackman the game here is a reading, right? That is a true thing that can lose the game. Same thing for Rachel too. Grabbing the block again. Maybe pairing Impish. I mean, not Impish, Clownish. I mean, there's not enough gauge on the table for Clownish, so I'm surprised we never bursted Clownish, to be honest. Yeah, I'm honestly really surprised we never bursted Clownish. Because Clownish here is just a burst, right? I mean, we don't use it for anything else. We don't have any way to generate gauges, Rachel, without hitting a thing, without hitting something. So our thing is pretty much forced or used for botted button. Huh. Yeah, this really is just thinking. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What is this supposed to be here? I can't wait to watch them on 2x speed. Oh yeah. Yep. If you don't want to if you want to watch it in 2x speed, I can't say I blame you. I mean, this is winner semis though, so they're taking their time. They're taking their time. This is winner semis. Whoever wins this gets to be in top 3 guaranteed. So this makes a lot of sense as to why they're taking this long. This is top 3 guaranteed. That is perfectly fine by me. Here's the burst. I don't know why it's face down, but it's fine. Burst into +2 speed, no Yukikaze on the table. Have to think pretty hard here about what we play, because if we get assaulted, Or crossed, it is bad news bears. Retreating 2, I like this a lot. Okay. Beg the question, Haku, what do you have? Range 4. Yeah, you've gotta really think about like what you have here. Because there are a lot of things that just don't do it. Like you pretty much need Gurren or dive here. Yeah, you pretty much need Gurren or dive. Yep. Feathers really got to think here. Do they have Gurren or do they have dive? Or is this some crazy bait by Rachel? I mean, it's possible this is also just a crazy focus bait by Rachel too, so... But Rachel didn't have focus unless they drew it off that burst there. First game was pretty tense. I think all the games have been pretty tense. This whole set has been pretty wild. This whole set has been a wild ride. Ranka. Grasp. Pushing 2. Pushing the range like 50. Sure. Pushing to range 6 with no gauge. Probably just looking out to burn out Hawkman Exceed. Hawkman gonna take Shipu here. Just because 4 damage is 4 damage. Hawkman probably just plays Shipu here. I mean, if Hawkman plays Shipu, I mean, it hits. I mean, Rachel has a known block in hand. So I wouldn't be surprised to just see that get dropped. There's really nothing else that Hawkman plays here other than Shipu, unless he just plays like a dive or something. Hey, Rachel still has to... Wait, but Rachel parried Yuki Kazi earlier. That's a Shipu. That was actually almost really dangerous. That Wild Swing had been a dive. Oh, God. Wait, actually, yeah, it's range 1 to 2. If that would have been a dive, that would have been insane. Okay, here we are. Range 4. 2 speed is threatening Spike, Rachel Spike, which is pretty intense to threaten. Yeah. Hawkman doesn't get another gauge here. Yeah. If Rachel has Spike, this is actually Rachel's game to take. Hawkman really has to find positioning here. I'm pretty sure this is just Spike or Spike Drop Central. Rachel does have 4 copies of Spike in their deck, between Spike and Spike Drop. Spike Drop being the safer one here, obviously, than actual Spike. Massive. Makes sense. Notably, Massive will actually work against Cross. Or against actual Spike. If Rachel has Spike Drop, though, that's an entirely different matter. Yeah, this is pretty rough. Yeah, this is Spike. If Rachel has Spike Drop, this is literally just GG. Like, this is every day of the week GG with Spike Drop. We just went to range 6? Tiny Lobelia? Okay. Haku had 5, they're at 4 now. No, yeah, no, this game is really close. That's why I was saying if Rachel actually had Spike Drop, it was a GG. Oh. Alright, EX Gurren will do it. Yeah, no Spike Drop. Alright, well, that's it. Feathers makes it into top 3, confirmed. They'll be sitting in winners finals, waiting for the winner between Poulter, Moriarty, and Reggie's War. So we'll have to see who meets them in winners finals. And yeah, I'll see you guys for the game tomorrow at 7 p.m. PST, I believe. Let me double check that. Pretty sure it's at 7 p.m. PST. It might be at 5 p.m. It's 5 p.m. PST tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in. The VOD will be up shortly. Have a good one, guys.